Hello, this is TelecomTV. I'm Martyn Warwick and I'm talking with Bhaskar, Alcatel-Lucent. Bhaskar, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Martyn.
Last time I saw you wearing a different hat. It's an Alcatel-Lucent one.
It's a Lucent hat
now.
now.
And so let's get into the nitty-gritty of it straight away, shall we? There's a huge amount of interest. The hype cycle is dying away. We're seeing NFV becoming more and more of a reality on a daily basis. We've gone beyond proof of concept. We're into trialing and not that far in some cases from real life deployment. However, a lot of what's said in the enthusiasm of the moment, shall we put it like that, is that virtualization is going to make changes in the network like that. It's going to be massively different. There's lots of new revenue streams. It's all very exciting and dynamic. However, the reality is somewhat different because, of course, the networks exist already. The fiber's in the ground, the copper's in the ground, the stuff in the ether, and it's that physical part of the network isn't going to go away. Yeah. I was talking to Margaret Kiosi of AT&T Labs, a distinguished network architect at AT&T Labs, and she was saying AT&T wants to have 70 to 75% of their network virtualized within the next 5 years. That is really a task because they have a massive legacy network. They're going to be 10 years, I reckon, 12, 15 years before that can be affected. So it brings up problems for both sides. Where does Alcatel-Lucent fit into that? What do you say? And do you have a solution to some of those problems?
Yeah, no, so Martyn, I think you said it well. SDN and NFV, and NFV is now no longer, I think the hype cycle is past for large operators and for large suppliers. So I think the good news is it's actually accelerated much faster. We are now seeing more and more commercial deployments and phased rollouts happening. So we're beginning to see that. Now, I think as you put it, SDN and NFV are not the end. They're a means to an end. Okay, and I think when sometimes we get caught up about it, what are the end goals? The end goals is operational efficiency, service agility, and innovation of new revenue streams, right? And you are absolutely right. This is something that we see every day in every proposal and every discussion with our customers. There is going to be a hybrid world. It is going to be a combination of both virtual and physical. There will be some functions that will go virtual much faster, which are happening today, like IMS and others. And then there are some that may never be virtual, okay? So, and for an operator to provide service, they will have to span across all of them.
Indeed.
Okay? So I think the key aspect is how do you operate, how do you orchestrate, how do you automate in a hybrid world, okay? So, and that is the reality for most of our operators because they have huge investments in current networks, which they are evolving. So I think, so where we are coming from as Alcatel-Lucent is we are saying, let us make sure the functions that will move fastest to the virtualized world, let's lead the pack. Okay, let's make sure we're doing that. Mm-hmm. Let's also make sure that how these virtual functions will work with physical functions. And then our software-defined network and our orchestration should span both. Okay, that's how we're looking at it.
Indeed, but
so I think you are right in terms of goals like a high percentage being completely virtualized. I think I was with Margaret earlier, as you mentioned. It's a goal that they are driving towards because the fundamental business model is changing for large operators. So the way I interpret that is in the new business model in 5 years or so, where are the biggest chunk of the revenues coming from? Is in the new business model, 2/3 or 3/4 of the revenue will come from new business models that are the foundation of which is virtualization, NFV and SDN. That's how I see it.
That then, and I like the answer and completely agree with you, throws back pressure on OSS, Operational Support Systems, which have always been the Cinderella back office function in the big operators. Very important, but never seen because they're a bit grubby and in the cinders. But it has big implications as far as NFV orchestration
Yeah.
is concerned.
Yeah.
Do you think that the tier 1 and tier community is sufficiently aware, in your opinion or in your knowledge, of just how difficult that orchestration could be if they don't get it right?
Yeah, I think you said it. I think it's a brilliant question, because I think we're all talking SDN, we're all talking NFV, and baked in it is some elements of OSS and the assumption that we'll come to it down the road. This is where we are trying to be very different, right? So we have our motive dynamic operations because we think all these three actually go together. If you truly want to go provision new networks, activate new networks, right, and manage a physical and virtual inventory down the road, OSS has to fundamentally change, right? OSS has to fundamentally change. You know, the whole concept of you rolling out trucks for a new service has to fundamentally change, right? So, you know, if you are selling a customer a piece of equipment on their premise, how do you make sure that it can be virtually enable any services without rolling out new trucks to them, right? So you are right. I think the whole OSS aspect of it is something that has to be taken into account. And if anything, I think OSS will become cool again, right? It's no longer going to be what you're saying, but it's the next generation. I think the fundamental here is what we're looking at is dynamic operations. So I think that is something that's going to change. And the dynamic operations have to take into account, right at the center of it, the customer experience, right? Because in the past, that customer experience was left to higher end applications.
Indeed.
Now I think that will have to be an integral part of the OSS portfolio.
We'll have to leave it there. It's an interesting series of questions and subjects. Love to see what will happen. Looking forward to it. But until then, and for now, Bhaskar Gorti, thank you very much.
Thank you, Martyn. Good seeing you.